Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by my friend, my companion, my dude, the one and only, the staple to the Call of Duty scene. You guys already know who he is, the legend himself. Ben to the scene, let's give it up, let's get a one in the chat.
Thanks, Tom. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, Ben. Just another day. I slept in today because yesterday was a long day, Ben.
Yesterday was a really long day.
Yeah, yesterday was a long day. Obviously, Ben and I, we were at the venue yesterday. We were doing the IRL show. We were doing the show in person. We had the watch party. We were there all day. They had all sorts of games and stuff. We had the Italy-England game on. We had some drinks, had some barbecue, and we just had an amazing time, man. So shout out to New York Subliners for making it all happen.
It was a fantastic event. Yeah.
Great event. It was a lot of fun. And it was just a blast all around. Obviously, there were some production issues, which we were worried about. I mean, at least I was, because it was the first time we were doing something like that. But we stepped out our comfort zone, and we were able to do something that no one's ever done before. So maybe we can make it happen again. Hopefully we can. We'll see. I also like doing it like this, Ben, just being at our setup.
Yeah, this is a classic vibe.
You just can't beat the classic vibe. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't beat the classic vibe.
We could do live shows. Listen, it was the first time doing it. It worked, and then it didn't work. Shit's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
We'll learn and we'll move on. But more importantly to me than like the show, Tom, like big shout out to everybody that came out. That room was packed all day.
Packed.
A lot of people came in to support. We hung around afterwards and we signed a bunch of stuff. I signed a couple of people's faces.
Yeah, bro.
Don't know if I really understood or agreed with that philosophy, but they asked us to do it anyway, so fuck it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So many people came out, man. I was actually looking for the picture right now so I can show you guys. I was literally signing a kid's forehead. Look right here.
It's making me sign a cheek. I'm like, you sure you want me to do this, brother? Like,
they wanted me to sign. He wanted us to sign his head.
Like,
so we were just chilling, man. It was incredible, man. I was there for an hour and a half, and that's why I ended up just chalking the show, because they couldn't get it fixed, and with only an hour left in the venue, I wanted to make sure that everybody who flew out or drove in, people came in from all over the place, all over the country. People flew in, and then people were telling me they also took road trips. Like, some people went on 8 to 10 hour road trips. So I wanted to make sure all the time left that we had in the venue went towards the fans who showed up. We were taking pictures, signing stuff, and most importantly, I was just talking to everybody, just getting their stories, seeing how they got into it, like how they got into COD, how they found out about me, and just learning people's stories, man, was incredible. It was awesome talking to people. Shout out to United Airlines. We were able to give away some plane tickets to the next major, some hotel rooms and stuff like that. So shout out to United. Shout out to Game Fuel for hooking me up with some Game Fuel mini fridges to give to some of the fans. It was just overall an amazing event. And it felt good to give some stuff away. So thank you to everybody who came out and showed their love and support. And it really is incredible what the Zoo Mafia has become in such a short amount of time. And I feel very blessed and grateful to have you guys in here every single day. And again, it just, the energy that you guys bring keeps me going. And I'm sure it helps Ben as well with the show. I know I do a lot of stuff outside the show, but the show has been incredible. And working with Ben J. Nassim has been an absolute pleasure, because Ben's obviously been one of my best friends in the last decade. So Ben, I appreciate you.
You just keep tossing the J in there. Why don't you just call me Ben Nassim?
Because Ben J. Nassim is fucking comedy. That's the way. That's how I just love it, bro. I love it.
Fair enough.
I'm the only one who does it too. That's why it's fucking.
No, chat's starting to do it now, bro. Like,
yeah, because they copy me.
Quote Ben J. Nassim. Well, that's true. They are copying you. But.
Like Ben's the goat, man. Ben's the goat. But listen, man, I just I appreciate everybody, and the show's been a blast. And this is just the beginning, man. Like, we've just been winging it, man. Like, a lot of this stuff, it was an idea that I came up with. I came to Ben with the idea, and we just did it. And I got everything made. I just threw it up on stream, and one day I just got it going. And it's crazy how far it's already came. So we're gonna keep it going. Somebody said, "Can you start, buddy?" I'm trying to. We have multiple hours. You understand, Chungi? So suck my balls. All right, let's get into the show. Ben, we got some matches to go into. Yesterday, obviously, we talked about the LA Thieves London. If you guys missed that, it's uploaded to the YouTube channel, so go check it out. But let's get right into it. We got Toronto Ultra going up against the Minnesota Rocker. And Ben, you said from the beginning, Toronto, the Minnesota's got no chance. Toronto's going to smoke them. I said no. You never down Minnesota. I think Minnesota can make a run. And it looked good after the first map.
Yeah, so videos are pretty straightforward. Something interesting, just for spoilers, the series ended 3-1. Minnesota won map 1, and then Toronto just kind of ran the floor from that. My biggest talking point about this first map, and I'm kind of get into overall series thoughts, I looked it up today, and apparently Toronto's been on a little bit of slide on this map. I don't know if you remember, Tom, when they first started coming into form, like in stage 2, they got very good this map, and they waxed a lot of teams. They beat FaZe a couple of times on this map. Since then, they're on a 3. They've lost 3 of the last 4 times they played this. That including this map. They're now under 500 record on this map. Just something interesting to note. I think we'll end up seeing this then a lot in their series. They're going to play this stage, as they have. I don't say they have a top seed locked down. They don't have top 2 locked in yet, but they're probably going to want to get a little bit better at this map, just because it's going to come up in pools against an Optic or a New York or even a FaZe.
Of course, they definitely want to get better at maps. I mean, any team that has a weak map, the teams that usually win at the end of the year are the teams that are good at every map. Just because they have no weaknesses. I also want to welcome Soap and Anthony Zinni, aka Methods, to the show. They will be joining us as well. I'm pretty sure they're here. Soap, how you doing? I see you unmuted. What's going on, Soap?
Hey Tom, how you doing?
Hey,
we had a great time yesterday together.
Great time, fantastic time, Soap. I want to introduce you as well. But then we got Zinni. I think he's eating or some shit. You know Zinni's always fucking eating. There he is. Zin, what are you eating?
Well, I'm doing like the meal plan shit now, like the ones you order your door. This was applewood smoked chicken thigh with sweet potatoes and beets and baked beans.
It sounds
really good.
It was great, but the chicken portion was enough to feed a fucking small bird. It was legitimately 2 bites of chicken, and the rest were just beans and fucking beets.
I mean, I like beans. I don't know about beets.
I'm gonna be shitting my pants, but I like beans as well.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Enjoy your lunch or whatever the fuck while we get the show on a roll. But let's get back to the match. Ben, I agree. I think Toronto, they need to work on this map, especially when you have teams like FaZe and Dallas who are really just expanding their map pool. I heard Crimsix talking about it a little bit. You were telling me a little bit about FaZe working on some of their weak maps. They have to clean up every little thing when it comes to everything. I mean, that's just what you got to do if you want to be a world champion at the end of the year, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can kind of talk about the end of this map. I think it sort of maybe encapsulates some of the issues that Toronto has. So, Toronto, pretty good garage hold going his last rotation. Minnesota's going to be able to rotate early. Ben Bance actually got to the back. But he was sort of in a 1v4. He wasn't going to be able to do much. Minnesota actually gets a lot this time. I'll kind of skip through it.
It got really hectic towards the end of this map.
Yeah, I want to get to this P5 because I think as we watch it play out, watch Toronto's setup here, right? So they get kind of pinned in.
No ring, Ben. No ring control.
They have no ring control, right? They have a guy in garage, a guy in kitchen. They have a guy that does spawn up Art, but he hit Zig to try and hold the side. But look at the setup. They have 2 people watching water stairs. They have another guy in kitchen, not really watching one of those lanes. And they have a guy Zig obviously trying to control spawns. The problem with this setup, the guy Zig's going to die, and then they don't have the numbers to pick up all the lanes now. And it's just a 4v2 in Hill. Number 2 is just kind of out of the play. He's sort of a little late to react. Bance will end up getting traded, and then from here, Minnesota is able to close out the map.
I mean, this is unlike Toronto. I mean, if you're winding a little bit, Ben, they had 2 guys looking at the same thing. They had a guy in kitchen really not looking at anything. And then they had a guy, Zig, or was it? Or this number 3 guy, where did he end up going? Let it play out so I could just watch it back again. But they just didn't have anything. They gave up the most important part of this hill, and that's ring. Everybody plays for ring control off the break of this hill, and they weren't even looking at it. What's up?
Well, what I'm thinking, Tom, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. Go for it.
I think in Ben Bance's mind, what he was probably
He's
thinking
actually in the chat right now, too. He just typed in the chat.
Ben, were you, number 7, standing coming off a spawn, were you trying to play for him? Like, was that why you were holding ult to try and get him to come off a spawn and see if he was going to hit water stairs? Because he ended up rotating all the way back and going around laundry.
Probably. He's definitely playing for the kill on old, for sure. I mean, he was probably looking for the kill on old. But once Ben sees that he's not coming out the front, then he knows that the kid's either going to come L-wall and make like a really heads-up weird play, or he's going to wrap all the way around and hit ring. Because the minute Ben sees nobody here, I'm sure he's calling out that they're going ring, but nobody's looking at it. Nobody's looking at it. Ben's just kind of staying alive in kitchen. The people on hill get overwhelmed by ring because they're not even looking at it. And then at that point, it's chalked. I mean, Minnesota, they only needed 3 points to win. So all they needed was a break and a jump in that hill, and they win. Hey, Minnesota, man, after they come out, this is what they needed. They came out, they win the first map. I looked at you, Ben, yesterday, and I said, well, here you go. Now we got a series. Minnesota, they come out, they won the first map. I thought it was going to be a blowout, or you thought it was going to be a blowout, which it ended up being. But this was a good start in the right direction for the Minnesota Rocket, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, Hardpoint's been kind of not their strong suit all year.
No.
But, I got to give props to the boys on Toronto. They end up loading up in a Moscow S&D, which has been a solid map for them all year. We've seen them execute a wide variety of strats on this map to get people on the roller skates. They're like Messi out there on the pitch, just crossing people over, getting nutmegs.
I like that, Ben. Great analogy.
And Minnesota actually kind of had some crazy clutches in this round, in this map. We'll watch a couple of them here after we watch this first round. But at the end of the day, Toronto's able to clutch up and get the series back to a 1-1.
Well, this is the biggest thing for Minnesota. You come out, you win your weakest game mode, and that's in the hard point. Now you go into the S&D, and you got to put them away here. You got Toronto. You know they're a top team. You have to win the search and destroy. You got to go up 2-0. And they let it slip. And like you said, Ben, a lot of individual plays, a lot of clutch plays, which we're obviously going to see. I think there was a 2v4 in here as well, Ben, if I remember correctly.
The only 2 rounds that Minnesota won in this were rounds where Standy 1v2'd. If I remember correctly.
Which, hey, speaking of Standy, this fucking guy can play, Ben. He's a great player. It's not even just a talent, but I like the way he moves around the map. He's very aware, very smart.
You sounded like your dad there, by the way, for a sec. But I'm
what?
sorry.
It's okay. You know, I
the way you said that, it's like the exact way your dad said it. It's all good.
Listen, he's a smart player, and importantly, he works hard, and he's a good kid. That's why I really like this kid. I mean, Eli, he's a really good player. And I love watching this kid play. I think there was a point in this map where Eli had 7 kills. Standy had 7 kills, and the rest of his teammate had 1 kill. And I was like, this kid's doing it all. He's trying to put the team on his back, and I love to see that from the young gun, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, we'll watch this round. We'll end up 1v2ing. And I agree. I mean, you see in his gameplay that he has a lot of potential to be a mainstay superstar in CDL. Look, does he have some things he needs to work on? Obviously, but it's his first year in the league. And I think he's definitely justifying the decision Minnesota made when they made the tough choice to part with Major Maniac on that first go-around and pick him up.
Yep, 100%. Standy, he's been doing his thing, and I commend Minnesota for pulling the plug on this kid, because a lot of negative things were said about this kid, about how he's a moron, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He got the Zoomaa treatment coming up, and this kid's really making a name for himself, so I love seeing it. And on top of that, like I said a minute ago, he's a great dude, so I love to see him succeed. But let's get back into some of these rounds. Ben, what do you think was the main problem with Minnesota? Do you think it was just a lot of individual plays from Toronto? Do you think Minnesota was fucking up? What do you think it is, Ben?
Well, I want to watch this round because I think this was a pretty unacceptable 2v4 that Toronto was able to pull off.
Well, let's take a look.
Watch how this round sets up, right? So Minnesota's doing some good A aggression here. They're holding. They're going to be able to get 1 pick and then another pick. It's now a 2v4.
They lose this round?
They lose this round. Watch what happens.
Great initial play from Attach. That's what he does best. He opens it up. He pops a 2-piece. This has to be closed out.
Why the fuck are they slow playing?
They
just killed 2 people a day. Why are they just not moving?
Standy gets singled out.
Then you
Dylan
went middle
gets
with
singled out.
bomb.
What's going on? See, that can't happen, Ben.
As soon as you get 2 kills A, why are they not hitting up Esky?
Just take your numbers and get the trades, and you're good to go.
Why are they not just hitting out A?
Yeah, once they get the 2-piece, it looked like they got the 2-piece and they slowed down. They got scared.
They did the exact opposite of what, I mean, they just took a bunch of 1v1s.
Took a bunch of 1v1s. Standy got caught out with the bomb.
They didn't even take 1v1s. They just got chowed by Toronto. Toronto was in a 2v4. And they're like, well, what do we have to lose? Let's take some chows, try and see if we get some picks. Standy gets chowed middle. And then they get the 2 chows wide A, and suddenly the 2v4 is now a 1v2. Like, I agree. You get the trades there. You should just bully out. If you lose a couple of guys, so be it. But you have the numbers to get all the trades and get the bomb down.
I'm also confused at what happened off the start of the round here. Did Toronto not even? I don't understand. They didn't even check anything. They just ran up. They didn't check the corner. I mean, that's a pretty basic corner, no?
Nah, but I don't think Minnesota didn't really peek anything. Like, if you go back, I don't think someone was jump spotting, so I don't think they even showed presence at A. It was sort of like they were just hiding. Wait, was number 8 jumping here? I'm not sure if they saw number 8. Maybe they saw number 8 jumping, figured he was solo playing.
Preston has jumped, but they didn't see Dylan cross, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
So they know he was close, yeah.
So they were just going to try double teaming him. They were probably assuming, because a lot of teams do a split on this map where they have like 1 person jump spot right there, 1 mid, 2 street, or whatever, 2 mid, 1 street. They were probably just taking
Pause right here, Ben.
P-Dog's alone over there, and then
that needs to be traded right there. Back up. Sorry to cut you off, Zen.
Oh, you're fine.
Just because it was going as it was playing out, that needs to be traded right there. When Dylan goes down, P-Dogs needs to trade.
No,
that.
they should have. Well, listen, they got 2 kills a day. Usually, it's always either a double A or a triple A. So worst comes to worst, you have 1 more guy at A. Just hit him out. Go up mid, hit up Esky. Other 2 hit out A. Just go fucking fly.
Yeah. Use your numbers, hit him out. Definitely was interesting to see Minnesota get numbers and then just take a step back. You got to be fucking hitting that go button. As
and
my
then
pops always
Mike's
says,
on a
keep the
long
gas
pitch,
pedal down.
Like what comes down to there is like Standy dies and then Mike is straight, so he goes for a long route. Like he runs all the way through B. He's around, so Preston's never getting any help. If Preston gets one of those trades, I mean, it probably works out, but he's still not going to have any support to not get traded back. Yeah. I think he also gets kind of unlucky. He does try and trade the kill.
Yeah, he does. It was just interesting. Listen, it was also a great heads-up play out of Cammy. He was able to get the kill and dip out so fast. I mean, it was also good individual plays from Toronto. It's negatives on the Minnesota side, but also a lot of positives on the Toronto side that they're able to have talent to make individual plays like this. And that's what you see from a lot of these superstar players and a lot of these top teams is when shit isn't going their way, they have the talent to make plays like that. And that's what makes Toronto so great.
They're also just really aware and good search and destroy players, right? Like Jamie's really good, Cam's really good. I mean, the whole team is just good at like individual plays in search.
Yeah.
Especially Cam, because Cam's not scared to get aggressive. Like a lot of players after he got that one kill probably would have stood still and waited for the push. Cam will just go chow and push right back up. Like he doesn't give a fuck.
That's really the breadwinner for the elite teams in S&D in almost any COD game. It comes down. Look, you can have the best tactics in the world. EG team World War II is a great example. Bevels had them doing a lot of exotic stuff, but they couldn't get over that losing streak because the mid-round calls were where they were having issues. Once they figured that out, they ended up going on that run at the end of the year and winning champs. So I think for this Toronto team, I agree. They've shown throughout the year, especially with the way that they play this map, the way they were at middle, they have a really good read on the map. And they know how to make the right play, especially on offense.
Yep. And then speaking of Cammy, Ben, we were talking a little bit about Toronto yesterday when we were sitting on the couch. We were drinking a few brewskis, and you were saying it. I wonder what's going to happen with some of these guys at the end of the year as their contracts are coming up. Toronto better be prepared to drop these kids some fucking bags. Because from my understanding...
Who said contracts are coming up?
No, we don't know that.
We don't know that. That's what the conversation Tom and I were having.
That's what I was about to ask, but I guess so. We just got our answer right there. I guess they're not coming up based off what Zinni was just saying, which is interesting. I'm surprised some of these Toronto guys would re-up on a new contract at the end of the year and would sign something new. It's almost like they didn't gamble on themselves, but I guess at the end of the day, you know, they wanted to lock themselves into something. But if their contracts aren't up, then they're probably locked in. Then Toronto's probably going to stay the same because I don't see Toronto changing at this point.
I don't think. I mean, to me, I think the team should try and stay together if possible.
They should, but at the same time, they definitely deserve a lot more money compared to what other people are making.
It's not even just about the money. It's the same thing we've talked about with FaZe, and it's like at the end of the day, like if you've got a team that's got mega plus chemistry, right? You've got those. If we're playing FIFA, you got those 10-10 links. Like you're gonna have such a leg up advantage on all these other teams that on a given year are gonna have to build that chemistry again. They're so close to being a dominant team. Mm-hmm. It's just gonna take some time and some sauce and a little bit of time in the oven, and like they'll figure it out. But I liked where they're going in the path. They've had some up and downs in the last stage or two as other teams are starting to get better. But they've been kind of just riding along, and I expect them to be really dominant here at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, based off, you know, what they could potentially be making individually, I think they could be making a lot more money. Just based off the rumors I've heard about what they were making. But that was last year. If they got re-upped on a new contract, I have no idea what they're making now. But I know they were, in my opinion, for the talents that they are, maybe a little bit underpaid, especially for how good of a team they are. But I didn't know that they got re-upped, so that's interesting. I'm sure that we'll be seeing these guys for a lot longer, Ben, which is a good thing because, like you said, they're a great team, and as long as you got a good team that's performing, they're gonna make it up anyway with the prize money and all that other bullshit. But we go into a checkmate control. Zinni, what are you giggling over there about?
No, Ben saying give him some time in the just the shit that was saying 10-10 legs.
I've used that expression before in the show.
Time in the oven, just a bunch of shit.
Sometimes you gotta let the yeast rise. You know, like I could take this analogy a couple different ways.
The yeast rise. Yeah. I don't like that one. I like the time in the oven. I like that. I don't know. Okay,
I got a bunch of more cooking analogies. I'll just we'll make them come out.
Well, Ben, please, let's get into the checkmate
control.
Let's
get back into this one. This is another round where at the end of the day, we've talked on the show, little decisions add up. An opportunity for Minnesota to clutch up on defense here, and then just going to play this 2v2 super slow. It was sort of back and forth. Toronto's going to be able to get a little bit earlier in this round, and the lives that you guys see are 5v5. So it's getting pretty close. Toronto's already getting some action on B. They get a couple of trades. It's an absolute mess. It's absolute chaos. It comes out to this 3v2, and you're going to watch Major Maniac go top lane. In this 2v1.
Cam just went fucking huge.
Cam went huge. You got some pieces, but watch how Mike plays this.
Here, though. Weird plays here. Major Maniac, he's like, okay, listen. They got 0.3 seconds left on the clock, so they cannot get off this point. So you can use that to your advantage. He makes a great heads-up play. He's able to take down Cammy, make it a 1v1 situation. Here's the problem. The point's going up. He sees the point going up.
What the fuck?
And he just doesn't hop on the point. And listen, I understand he was one shot, but at the same time, there's 3-4 different angles you can come from that wing. You can easily catch the guy slipping. You have to make a play onto the point.
Mike was slipping there, dude. We're not. Listen, that was an awful play.
Yeah, that's what I just said in nicer terms. It was a bad play.
No, I'm not being nice about it.
He had multiple places to jump off the wing. He has to make a play there. It's a defensive round. Minnesota needs this round. They need it. It's a defense on checkmate. They have to win the D. Mike needs to make a play there, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you chow that and you lose, you didn't have 100% health. Like, it is what it is. But instead, he didn't make a play, and you miss 100% of the shots he didn't take.
I mean, bro,
and
he's
they
probably.
give Toronto an offense. Go ahead, Zen.
Sometimes, like when you're in a situation like that, like a 1v2 towards the end, like you kind of just like get lost in the moment, like kind of like a blackout. Like you're kind of just like you get that one kill and then you're just trying to regen. He probably didn't even realize it's that close to being capped.
But then at the same time, you don't got teammates in his ears. You gotta go. You
I'd
gotta
be
go.
screaming. I'd be screaming.
I'd be like, I wouldn't be screaming. I'd be like, you gotta go. You gotta go. He's about to cap. He's about to win. You just gotta make a play. Just because you see it clicking up, like you see it, it's done. And he ends up not jumping out, and everybody was very confused. I understand from Mike's POV, maybe nobody was saying anything to him, and he was one shot, and he had other things going on. He knew he was gonna die, but you gotta go for it. At the end of the day, you gotta go for it. They end up losing the defense. Toronto wins an offense, and at that point, Ben, this is fucking all over. We got Toronto written all over it.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't give teams offenses. Toronto puts them in the mega trap.
No.
And it's a GG, and we move on to map 4.
And at this point, you get in Minnesota, they're choking in the fucking S&D, they're choking in the control, and now you're going to another hard point, a Garrison hard point. They're able to win the first map. They could push this to a game 5, but Toronto and how strong they are at hard point. You're able to take the first one. You have to take either an S&D or control if you're Minnesota. You got to. You have to. You have no choice against a team like this. And Toronto, they punish them for it. They punish them for Minnesota's mistakes. They go into the Garrison control hard point, and this one wasn't even close.
You just can't make mistakes versus the top 2 team. Like it's just you will get punished hard.
Yeah. You'll get punished hard, and Toronto, they took full advantage of it. Ben, I don't know if you even want to go into some of the listenings. They're kind of fugazi at times. They're a little bit delayed.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, but I mean, Toronto basically, if I go back and kind of skim through it real quick, I mean, they just kind of did a really good job chaining a couple of these hills together. It seems a pretty close game before the listen in. And as we have seen time and time again on this map, man, if you get in that P5 spawn trap where you're spawning deep tank and you just cannot get those kills bricks, it is going to be a real struggle bus. The other team's going to start generating streaks. And you'll just see, I mean, Toronto gets all this time, and what was a pretty close game ends up being a 50, 60-point lead going to second rotation.
Yeah, I'm begging for a scan and repair back there, man. If I'm spawning back there, I'm begging someone to scan. I'm begging. Yeah. If I'm
how you don't get a scan before they get 150?
No, well, no, because they can tell if it's a scan and repair. So if I'm stuck at those back tanks versus a team like Ultra, FaZe, I'm fucking begging for scan, man.
Yeah. I mean, I was fucking around. I would never do anything like that. But
of course not.
At this point, I mean, Minnesota, they're pinned. Toronto's
they do get back in this. They
do.
Were really
they
good
bring it back.
They were really good P2. I actually think Minnesota ended up getting this P3 break. They actually prevent Toronto from getting a lot of time. Yeah, they break through right here. Cammy can't get all the kills, but Minnesota will get the close spawn to garage.
But again, Ben,
at this point, Toronto's got the 40-point lead, and they're just kind of managing the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Toronto had so much of a lead, they can win the game just by keeping it scrappy for the rest of the way. That's why you can't give a team like Toronto such a big lead like that, because at the end of the day, even if they're losing rotations and stuff, if they could get time here, time there, a little bit of time here, they'll end up closing up the game. But Minnesota do a great job bringing this one all the way back, especially going into this last hill here. This got a lot closer than we thought, Ben, when we were watching it back. And Minnesota did a great job. Minnesota are not bad. It's just a lot of little things that are just making this team. This team can go from average to great. They just need to clean up a lot of these little mistakes because they definitely got the talent, man. I mean, you got Stanley, who's incredible. You got Priso, who's been hitting form. Mike is a good, solid, smart player. You know what Attach brings to the table. They just all need to hit form at that given moment, and they need to come together and try and clean up some of these little mistakes. But I just feel like when you say these things so many times, eventually you start to lose hope a little bit. No, Ben.
I feel like Minnesota is one like dominant series off. Like bro, I'll always stand by the fact I think certain teams need one Unreal series to just like for everything to click.
The confidence, the momentum, everything.
As soon as something clicks to a certain level in one series and everybody's confident as fuck, it can completely change your team like entirely.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're the type of team that's sort of like one mega win off that type of stride, and I still don't think that they'll consistently be able to fuck with like a FaZe or an Ultra right now. Just see a lot more, but I definitely think like they're capable of being a top 5, top 4 team maybe.
Yeah, no. Listen, there's a lot of teams in this league that have talent, but I just think with the top teams they have shit more than talent. They have that.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is after they went 0-6, right, and they made the change, they won 3 straight. You would think that would be the catalyst. Then they go on, and we were like, okay, after that happened, like they're gonna take the next step. and then it didn't really work, and now they're back in that spot.
I more so mean like at an event. Like I think
Yeah.
I think
Like
at
the way
an
it
event
happened
is
with
where
Dallas, like the last
exactly.
major.
Like I think Dallas had a big series, and then at that point, like when everybody's playing with confidence, like Call of Duty is a game of confidence. Like if you're playing more confident than the other team and you're taking the fights, like
Yeah.
I'd always rather take the fight than have someone take the fight against me, if that makes
Better
sense,
rewind
right?
it.
Like,
I want to watch the intro.
like I want to initiate, and then
Yeah.
like
And-
once people are challenged like that, everybody's calming. It just one series can completely change your
And
team.
listen, to talk about Minnesota a little bit too. I was really liking that rumored role change. I'm putting Dylan on that flex and putting press on that sub role. Maybe they gave it a go and it wasn't working, but if you just let it go for a week or two and get something fresh in there, maybe get a little honeymoon period, I think the roles might mix a little bit better. I would love to see Minnesota tweak a few things and see what they can do, because I do think they have a great roster, and I do think they can make a run here towards the end of the year. So I would like to see them change things up. But regardless, you know, they practice every day. I think they know their team a lot better than I do. So I wish them the best of luck. I love all those guys in Minnesota. Love all the guys in Toronto. Fantastic series. GG's to both guys. But then we get into the next one. We got the New York Subliners going up against Optic Chicago. I think this is a mixture of two things. I think New York are terrible right now. I don't think they look good. I'm going to be honest. I'm on New York. I love these guys. These are my fucking brothers. But they're not looking good. They're making a lot of mistakes. It looks like their confidence is shot at times. Then you got Optic Chicago on the other end. They don't stream scrims anymore. They're going back to the drawing board. You see how much it means to Scump with some of his recent tweets. Yep. These guys are fucking working their asses off. They're cleaning up a lot of their mistakes, and it's starting to show. New York Subliners also came out with a new intro, and I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. It was beautiful. So I want to go in. I want to watch this and give it a look, Ben.
Let me know when I can play.
Play it.
First blood, he just jumps on in. A flurry of kills through. Mac, though. Mac gets 3. What a second half of the hard point he had. Nails on 4. The 8 for Big Mac. Upward timing. He gets crossed out. But a seam and Mac, that crossfire so good. A seam. All 4. Give it to him. Takes down the entire side of phase.
There we go, Graham!
Just efficient work right now. Is Hydra, he has the entire team straight in front of him, gets a couple shots. Now look how much he just slows them down.
Can he get the defuse player? He does. 23 seconds left on the clock. One more to deal with for Clay. This would be massive.
It is a pretty sick intro.
Oh, dude.
Guys, sorry, listen, guys. I know I had
best intro.
Last time I don't have good luck because I didn't have the sound on for that. And I remember last time, I don't have very good luck when I touch this thing, so I like to keep hands off before I fucking reset the entire video.
I feel you. It was a great intro. Hey, not to be biased or anything, because I didn't really like our last one. That was fucking incredible, bro.
That was dope.
That intro was sick, man. I saw somebody say this intro's ass. You gotta be fucking tripping compared to the other teams. That's fucking phenomenal stuff. I don't know who made the video. It must have been a new designer here at the Subliners, but that was fucking phenomenal. So shout out to the New York team for making an intro like that, because I thought it was great stuff, man. Not to sound biased, of course I'm biased, but at the same time, I didn't think our last one was that great, and I thought that one was incredible. So sick stuff.
Are we talking about these teams before or after we watch this series?
We're going to talk. We'll talk about it as we go through the series. We got the New York Subliners going up against Optic Chicago. We kick things off with Moscow Hardpoint. Like I said, I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. I think Optic's looking real good, and I think New York's looking a little shaky. No Zin.
New York's looking awful.
I got a question for you, Tom.
What's up, Soap?
I think ASUM not going to the major really affected this team a lot, and that's why they're not
well, I mean, I just
where they were.
I also feel like that's a bullshit excuse.
No. I talked to Damon about this, right? Because Damon went through the same thing. I forget what team, but like, bro, once you have like a visa issue and you lose a player for a tournament or however long,
Kills
like
momentum and shit.
Yeah, throw us momentum, chemistry gets fucking goes down the hill. Clay's tweets, like, I'm worried about this team because Clay needs to be like that motivational leader. And I think just, I mean, bro, we all know Clay very well. Like, sometimes you're in a negative spot, and I feel like Clay's sort of down a little bit right now. And that's the last person that you could really afford to have down is like their main guy. Pair that with Hydra and honestly the whole team underwhelming. Like, I don't think any of them have been looking individually great. Like, sure, there's spurts and at times they look good, but like they look like a completely different team. And like it's very important if you're them to sort of like scrap these past few matches and just like get your head back on straight. still have that same confidence in one another. Because as soon as you lose a couple matches, man, it's very easy to go down that rabbit hole of negative thinking, blaming, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happens, it's not looking good.
Well, that was the
Well,
one thing I
here's-
always said. Go ahead, Ben. You could go first. I'll go last.
So here's my thoughts. They played a lot of Garrison when this team first formed, and they were smoking everyone on Garrison. Now it's getting banned against them a lot in this series. This matchup in particular, Optic, who don't play Garrison, that map goes out of the pool. New York's played, I think, a lot. They played Moscow twice this week, and they've gotten smoked on it. I think a couple things are coming to a head. New York has a very unique problem that no other team in the league has. Do you guys know what that problem is?
No, just tell it
language
to me,
with-
Ben.
Language
language
barrier with
barrier.
Hydra?
They have a player who is learning how to not only speak but understand English.
Mhm.
They have a problem where sometimes it is clear if you watch how Hydra plays on the map that he doesn't quite understand what's being spoken to him in terms of directions. I don't blame any party in that. Like, he's got to learn a completely different language. He's got to understand what quick directions mean, and he's got to be able to process that in a split
Well,
second.
let's go into the
So they've
listening,
got
Ben.
Yeah, you want to?
I mean, you're talking about communication
Yeah,
while we're in a
I'll
listening.
rewind it back.
We
So
might
let's,
as well give it a go, but I agree with you. I mean,
Yeah.
it could definitely be holding the team back a little bit. I really don't know. I mean, a lot of these things, Ben, I know you be watching a lot. I was just saying before, like I said to Zinni's post, I just think it might be a confidence thing, but the comms can definitely be an issue. Let's tune in.
Double door. I didn't hit him. He backed up.
You're backed up. Okay, I'm going quick.
I'm boy one shot.
help you,
He
I'll
ran
help
back to
you.
gold door. He ran back to gold
Okay,
door.
okay.
I'm gonna
One
rush
more
you.
middle on me. I'm running.
I got
I'm
him.
staying alive.
I had a call
One
chat after
in
this
bank,
for a
one
second.
elbow. Last guy
I'm
bank.
out. One elbow, one
Yeah.
bank.
Get sheet control, guys.
I am.
Paco,
I'm gonna block bust.
I'm gonna come help you,
Go
that's
play
fine.
with him.
I'm boy
yeah,
weak back
pushing
bank.
That's him.
Let me-
I'm
Okay.
boy
No,
weak
no,
back
that's not him.
downstairs.
That's
That's
not him.
not him. That is not him. That's not
He's
him.
weak. Best on me. Dead.
I'm on the pole.
I'm holding street. I'm holding street.
I can look your guys' pillar. I'm gonna help pillar.
I want pillar.
Pillar's dead.
I need a pillar.
Are you
Careful. Don't push.
Pillar.
I hit him with a nade.
Yeah, formal pillar.
Hey,
One
one
middle,
bank,
middle.
one in bank,
Cutting
one
us,
pillar,
cutting
one in
us.
bank, one
Middle,
pillar.
one shot. Dashing.
Oh, he's on pillar. You got
Under
time.
balcony, under balcony.
Yeah, I
Go
know,
rat,
I
go rat,
know.
go rat.
I tried. I was flashed. All right, one's in rat right now. Play
Go
good.
back,
One
Dashi.
One under bout.
Dashi one shot.
One under bout.
Dashi,
One
Gold
rat.
Gold
Top
window
rat,
as
top
well.
rat.
Gold window as well. After.
Pinching bus. Or I'm pinching bank right now.
That's one deep street.
Spawn to me.
I'm coming deep street. I'm jumping top bus stop. I'm
One
looking
gold
over
window,
hill.
gold window,
Dashi
mate.
in bus. One
One
pillar.
behind
One
bus. One
gold.
behind bus.
One in bus. One gold.
Bus dead. He's
Rat,
rat
rat,
right
There's
now.
one back here.
Rat,
That's
rat,
spawned
rat,
out.
go me.
One more red.
Pillar and rat. Last guy, push up, left side hill, push up behind us.
I don't see.
Joey.
One's in the bus too.
Rotate.
Push up on the bus. Got him. I'm rowing.
All right, one's in the bus. Someone try
I'm
to get top
holding mid.
SK.
Yeah, I'm holding mid. One in all.
I'm gonna hold straight. They're gonna try to
You
push
know,
the street
Dwight?
probably.
Dashi dead.
Job. I'm getting on globe.
Nothing close glass.
Deep street or deep. Oh, dude, he saw me.
I got the guy hold.
Top.
All right, let's beat this, Ben. What were you
Tom,
gonna say?
I got to tee off. Hold on. Chat was not understanding what I'm saying. Guys, the issue is not Hydra being able to speak English. The issue that I think is apparent, and Tom, I think you'll agree with me because we were talking about it yesterday. It is a tall task because he's got to be able to process English callouts, complex English callouts, small talk in real time, and that is a very difficult task. It
Yeah,
is something
but
that
no one.
he's gonna get-
Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I mean,
No, say-
this wasn't a problem when they were a top 2 team and everybody was gassing him, and now.
But they
I
were
don't-
getting away with it because they were playing Garrison, which is a map, I think, compared to other maps, that requires less of that small talk because it's so small that he can go ahead and play Vent. He can play lights.
You
and
think
make a lot
one
of
map
plays.
is the reason that they're not performing as well right now?
We've seen that a lot in Call of Duty history. No, we've seen where teams get figured out in vetoes and they get countered, and it's going to be on New York now. It's starting to get better at some of these
Yeah,
maps.
no,
Keeping
I
the map
agree.
close.
I just
Let's go.
don't want this guy. Listen, it's valid, right? Like the kid, obviously, there's definitely like a little learning curve there, but I don't want this kid's language barrier to be a scapegoat now that they're not performing as well. When before it was being gassed about how incredible he has been in the communicate. Like everybody was gassing how good his comms have been and how surprising it's been, and now that they're losing, it's like we're trying to flip the narrative.
Right,
So
and that's the thing. It goes
you have
both
to note
ways.
it, but like
It goes both ways. So, Zinni, I think you're right, and Ben, I think you're right. It's a little bit of both. I think, sure, Hydra his first language is not English. That doesn't mean that New York can't come out and do well. I think for somebody who just came over from another country, I think his English is actually very good.
Yeah,
and I think
he's
his comms are
actually
good.
speaks it pretty well.
I think what Ben's saying, you know,
best.
when it comes to like when you're playing top teams and you have to micromanage a lot of little things. Sure, the kid could speak good English, but there could be a lot of little things that could be hindering the team. But I don't want to pin it on Hydra and the communication thing as what the problem is with this team, because a few weeks ago, like Zinni said, this team was winning. This team was looking good. They were in form. I see a big difference in their gameplay. What do I always talk about? The eye test. They look like they're not challenging things. They look like they're a little bit slowed down. It looks like they're not working off one another. It looks like they're sporadic on the map, a lot of single pushing. It looks like they're not doing anything as a team. I feel like this team is in a serious funk right now. Like, they need to get back.
I was going to bring that up on the control, Tom, because I think especially in the control,
What does happen?
it just jogged for a second, but the New York Old did a really good job in situations where we see a lot of good teams of playing and valuing their life. I feel like now I'm watching them, and I don't know if you agree with me, Tom. I'm watching them just throw away their lives in a lot of like 2v4s, 3v4s. They just need to hold and wait for the teammates to spawn up.
Fuck the comms. At least play the game the right way.
Here's what I'm more worried about.
Watching them is like pulling hair. They're single pushing. They're not doing any crossfires. They're not holding any setups. It looks like they're just fucking discombobulated.
And look, before I get to you here, Zen, I think we need to give some credit to Optic here. They played fantastic in this series.
Yeah,
they were playing some textbook COD. And when you're playing New York, you're playing a team like that that's playing 100% pure gameplay. You've got to counter that. And if you're going to come out and not bring that plus teamwork, you're going to get deep fried, especially by a good team like Optic. But go ahead, Zen.
I'm more worried about how young the team is in experience. Like, you have Clay, who's obviously like come on, he's a veteran. But like I said earlier, like, you can just tell by his tweets right now, Clay isn't, I don't think, the full version of Clay that could be helping I'm not blaming Clay at all, but I'm saying, like,
everybody's got problems on the team.
When things are going well, right? You have a young team like this, sort of inexperienced. When things are going well, it's great. You're laughing, you're having a good time, you're having fun. As soon as that ship starts to sink, it's like, especially with Clay not being in the best headspace, it's like, what are these kids thinking right now? Are they thinking positive, like, we're still good? Is Hydra in his own head? Is Mac worried he's not playing as well? Like, I just worry about the overall, I guess, like, maturity when it comes to digging yourself out of the hole for this team.
Yeah. And Ben, I don't know what's going on with the screen right now. It's all fucked. But I definitely, we got to give credit.
Let me try and jog the video
Yeah, go
again.
ahead. Take your time and do what you got to do to fix it. Guys, we also got to give credit on the other side to Optic Chicago, because that's what like I said in the beginning when we first got into see, it's a little bit of both. New York is definitely struggling right now. But you got to give credit to the other side. We got to give credit where credit's due. Optic look great. I mean, they look like Optic's a team where their teamwork's getting better. Like, all the problems that I'm saying with New York, it seems like where the problems Optic was having a few weeks ago, and they're getting to that point where they're fixing it. On top of that, it's the individuals on Optic that are starting to perform better. Formal looks a lot more comfortable. Dashy's coming into himself a little bit. Scump is he's playing a lot better now. I mean, Scump's always been doing his fucking thing, let's be honest. And then Envoy, he needs to find those consistencies, right? Envoy's the one making those plays. He's hitting those routes. I think for Optic, it's just finding a rhythm as a team. And I think they're getting their confidence going a little bit. And you see with Scump, with some of his recent tweets, I mean, bro, they give a fuck over there. That's something I always respect.
They're in the middle of a top. They're trying to get in that top 2 mix. And Tom, I sent you a new link. You want to go ahead and pull that up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I mean, they definitely, I just like how Optic, they go about themselves. They're very prideful. They keep trying to get better. Even with all the shit that they've been getting, they're not a bad team. They've always been a top team. It's a lot of little things that have been costing these guys, but it just seems like that they're starting to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, I got servers back.
Now, the issue with Optic is that when they don't win, everything is blown so far out of proportion that they'll be placing third, and people will be talking about how shit they are or how they need to make a change. Like, it's just the blessing and curse of having a huge fan base. It's like there's no winning unless they're actually winning.
But fuck
and
that shit. I mean, who
it's
cares?
very hard to win.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about what the fans are saying? I'm saying within the team, within themselves, like, they know what they got to change. I mean, they know that they're a good team. I think that, I've had my fair share of criticism to Formal and some of the guys and kind of how they were playing and just kind of some of the little things that they've been doing as a team. But one thing I always said is these guys got a lot of talent, and if they could just put it together and start doing stuff as a team and start working off each other a little bit more, it'll be a lot better. And that the problems that Optic have got to New York.
Yeah, once Optic gets that tactical depth, and they're going to be back in that spot where they'll be back in that conversation. I agree, it was never about the skill, and I feel like New York's in that same spot. It's just, listen, it's always going to be a game of runs and a year that's a marathon of adjustments. And I think New York's now in one of those low periods. They're gonna have to regroup, regain, and kind of get back on that footing. And for Optic, they may be starting to peak again. I really like what we saw from them this week. Look, they're going to have some tough tests in the next 2 weeks. They got to play some good teams in this group, especially FaZe, to see where they're at. But this is exactly the perfect timing for Optic to start getting in that spot where they can really compete finally in one of these majors.
I'm curious
and make
to see
it
how they
make
do
it
against FaZe.
to a final.
I mean,
Go ahead.
their talent's not an issue when it comes to every team except for, I guess, FaZe and maybe Toronto, you know, like some of the top teams, maybe even Dallas a little bit. New York is a great matchup for them. New York just look a little shaky right now. But for Optic to come out and beat a top team like New York is great, because that's what a lot of criticism that Optic's been getting is like, listen, these guys don't beat top teams. I consider New York a top team. They've been great all year.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So Optic, you know, they look good. They came out and they took care of business. They got rid of New York in a 3-0 fashion. And I just like the plays that they're making on the map, Ben. It just seems like they're coming into form a little bit. Their confidence looks like it's getting there. And then on top of that, you see Scump. He's starting to turn his stream on a little bit. They've been playing some games together. It just seems like the vibes over there are good. And that's very important. People can say whatever they want about having fun or the vibes. What are we, you fucking bitches? That shit matters. Having a good team culture, having a brotherhood. We've talked about it so many fucking times. To see these guys coming together after some rough losses and come out and take a team out like New York 3-0, it's fantastic to see, Ben.
Yeah, I
Also,
agree. Go ahead, Tim.
I'm so sorry. Let's also note that there was an hour-and-a-half break in the middle of this series, and that is not ideal for either of the teams.
Oh, trust me, I know, because I ran out of time at the fucking venue, and
we were chilling on stage.
I was chilling on stage. I had to cut the show short, and then I had some assholes saying, "Oh, Tommy gave up on the show and this and that." No, asshole. I had hundreds of people that flew in from all over the place that wanted to come visit us and say hi. I had to give some time. I needed at least an hour to say what's good and take pictures and show hello to everybody there. So the delay did not help anybody. It didn't help these teams. It didn't help us yesterday. The delays suck, and I hate when these fucking servers go down in the middle of events. I don't know.
That's unavoidable, man. That's one of those things where it's like no one, the CDL or anybody, can be faulted, right? Like everybody's trying to do their best to get the show on the road, but I mean, there was a behind-the-scenes video that Hector recorded. And I think Optic was probably definitely in better spirits than New York were, right? Like winning first map, then having to wait a while is definitely better than losing the map, having to wait for a while. But I just don't want to see people try to like discredit the series or Optic for that, right? It's out of both teams' control, and it's important to just fucking keep pushing and move forward.
Listen, let's be honest. The delay sucks for both sides. You know, it sucks for both sides. It really, if anything, I mean, I feel like it hurts Optic a little bit more. I mean, they come out, they win the first map. Now you get this fucking big ass delay when they're off a win. They're off the momentum, off the energy. They're feeling good going into the S&D. And now all of a sudden, you know, you have this big ass delay. If anything, it's a good spot for New York to sit back, relax, regroup, and try and figure out what the fuck's going on into the next map. But clearly, it didn't affect Optic going into the next S&D.
I mean, Tom, I think on the New York side, I want to get back to sort of discussing the maps. So two things. One is we saw a lot of Dashi with sub play. I want to talk about it more in the control, but that's good to see that he's really starting to dip on that third sub. I think it's going to make a big plus side when they play some of the
pick up
stronger
the pace
sub
a
teams.
little bit. Yeah.
One thing I noticed about the way New York plays Express, and I feel like it was really exploited by Chicago, is I noticed that Clay plays on an island a lot. And he was slow to recognize situations where he should maybe stack with his team. So I thought this was a classic example of it. I'll back it up a little bit. You know, if New York goes into this sort of 2-2 split, is he going to get some kind of bad timing here mid? He doesn't really see anything. He's going to end up getting a gunfight here with Envoy, and Envoy's going to end up winning it. But as we advance in this round, New York's actually going to get the bomb down at A. They're going to kill number 8 Scump with the bomb, and they're going to see it here behind this ladder. Watch number 2 Clay. He doesn't wrap back with his team. Look, he is concerned about that guy that came in. I understand his play here, but he's going to go ahead and actually kind of like take too long to get to his team. And now look what's happened. Max kind of stuck. He gets 1v2'd, and then Clay's completely out of play. Was this a round that they probably could have win? It was a little bit tough. I just feel like as we go through some of these rounds, just look at the context of how Clay plays these late round situations. I think they kind of knew that he was going to sort of be on this late pinch. I think New York's going to have to kind of mix it up a little bit.
I agree with you, Ben. I think that was kind of a bad example. I think Clay does get picked out sometimes because he plays on an island a lot. The problem is he plays on an island too much. That's the problem. Sometimes you want to play on an island. Mix it up. Have somebody play on an island. Try and fuck things up. Try and mix it up a little bit. But for the most part, you got to do stuff as a team. I mean, I would rather just have them 4-hit shit out or play off each other a little bit. Maybe try and hit some blind counters on defense. Like maybe try and, listen, 4-hit A. If they're not here, fucking hit across mid or hit their side and flank up fucking B side or some shit. Like stay together. Try and work a little bit more as a team.
Watch how this round plays out. Guys, we're going to have a lot of examples from the search because I felt like there's a lot we can discuss here. So Clay's didn't get picked outside of phone booth to start off this by the elevator. New York, though, is going to kind of gifted a free plant here. Watch how long they take to sort of read this out. It's a 3v4. I understand they feel like they need to challenge something, but they've got middle control. You see what Asim's going to kind of push up alley. He's peeking, he's peeking, he's peeking. Max worried about this guy coming all the way from the spawn. But at no point did they get this bomb down and try to force Chicago to make a play. Instead, they just kind of wait. And they're never going to really take advantage of trying to at least like set up a crossfire or a post plant to try and maybe steal a few kills here.
Well, Ben, that's my biggest fucking pet peeve when people don't get the bomb down or they wait too long to get it down because you're just wasting your own time. You're wasting time. I think.
But look how they're set up now. They waited so long. Look at this post plant setup. They're not together. They're in a position where they have individual 1-on-1s. There's no way for them to set up X crosses or any type of crossfires and try and get at least a 2v1 trade where they get the numbers back in their favor.
It needs to be a little balance. I think with New York too, though, they're also down a man, so you need to make individual plays. This is when
but two people can't be making individual plays.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't have everybody all over the map because Optic is most likely gonna have a guy roaming like Scump is doing now, and then they're gonna be sticking together. I mean, as long as Optic works some trades, boom, they make it look easy. They have numbers that are gonna push them out.
Regardless, to me, Tom, if we go back, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to kind of expand on that. It's like if we were to go back and watch New York Search game from earlier with this team, they were very good about running together as a team. I thought that's when they excelled, especially on this map. They were really good at 3 or 4 hitting stuff as a team and getting those trades. I feel like they're getting away from that gameplay too much now. I feel like it's too much, as it goes to your earlier point on when we were watching the Moscow.
They're all doing their own thing.
They're all doing their own thing.
Yeah.
I don't think the comms are good, and they're just not using their skill to the right advantage to counter with the plus teamwork.
That's what I'm saying. They're doing their own thing, Ben. It's like they're just going through the fucking motions. I was saying this to Asim on the phone yesterday. I said, Asim, you guys have no confidence right now. You guys are going through the motions. You're all making individual plays. It's like you guys aren't even playing the game the right way sometimes. Sometimes in Hardpoint, I'm watching them try and break, and they're not even waiting for each other. You have one guy hitting it, then 10 seconds later, the next guy hits it. It's like they're so all over the place, and those team problems go into every game mode. You see it in the S&D. And then the only reason why they start coming back into this map is because Asim's 0-6, and this guy ends up 7-6 in the next 2 minutes. He goes on a fucking 7 streak, and that's what New York has. They have individual talent, but that shit gets you absolutely nowhere when you play top teams, and that's the same
Yeah, they
shit.
better, and they need to stop second-guessing their talent. Listen, I said it before, my biggest worry is that this team just, goes down the rabbit hole of negative thinking and just, as soon as you start hesitating in your gameplay and you're not playing as confident, even for a fucking split millisecond, slower than you used to, completely changes your team.
Right.
You have to. If I'm New York, I'd be watching old VOD right now, gas each other up. Yo, that's fucking good kill right there.
It looks like they completely forgot how they played the first 2 rounds. They were 3 hitting shit together, and then the next 5 rounds, Optic wins. They're just solo challenging. They're playing by themselves, and they're not playing together anymore. They just stopped playing the game how they won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when FaZe played Optic on this map, and Tom, we talked about this on the stage. I think you were there, Sub, too. I noticed that Optic didn't change anything, right? How did FaZe win that map against Optic? They rush planted A because they see that Optic basically peek it, and then they stack their site. I noticed that New York basically kind of went back to that counter here when they went down 5-2. It was just too big of a deficit for them to overcome to try and roll that strat out.
Well, now look at Asim. He's 1-7. Watch his KD change completely.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, and that's the thing.
He starts getting kills.
You have the individual talent for people to make plays like Asim's about to do right now. And that's the same thing we've been saying about Optic, right? Oh, they have the talent, they have this, but they can't beat top teams and this and that. That's where I worry about New York now. I feel like with their talent, they're going to get by with a lot of these shit teams. But then when you're playing a team like Optic or some of these top teams, they're going to really struggle because they're shying away from what made them so great a few weeks ago. And maybe the change with Decimate coming in, the visa issues, maybe that did affect them a little bit. But they need to get back into form quick because we got the next major coming up, and then we got champs. So this is like the biggest part of the year. It's very important. Great heads-up play by Scump, by the way, to hop on that bomb that last round. I wanted to give credit to him.
That was a great
I thought it was a great heads-up play. I think Scump does a great job of always reading the play, and I think it was a good clutch by him. So shout out to Scump.
New York's in a weird spot now. It's very likely New York starts in losers bracket now for the major, unless they beat FaZe or there's some weird 3-way tie. They're 0-2 right now. The Thieves loss is tough. I mean, this is a tough loss as well, but you would have expected New York to look a little better versus the new Thieves, right? Just because they're brand new and you're sort of like an experienced, established team. So they need to snap out of it quick, and maybe we'll see them in losers. And
they can still get top 2, but at this point you got to think, look, we got to take it one series at a time, and maybe the losers round, silver lining, the losers run is not going to be that bad for us. just like Dallas, we can go to this event, get a lot of chemistry. We're building to our champs. Look, we know we're going to have a top seed. We know that we're going to start our winners at champs. Yeah, we might be in that situation where we're going to be on FaZe's side of that bracket, and we're going to have a really tough matchup of winners too. But let's try and get back towards the basics of what we were doing great before the issues with Asim and his visa and all that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on top of that, listen, I think New York really need to take this map. I think when they bring it back 5-5, they kind of trolled
They made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, they brought it all the way back, and I like the way New York adapted. Like, they adapted a little bit. They started playing a little bit faster. They started seeing, like...
Started playing together as a team. I don't know if you watched the last couple rounds.
Yeah, they seemed like they were a little bit more indecisive. Like, they were a lot tighter with each other. They were working a lot more teamwork, a lot more trades, a lot more crossfires. It just seemed like they were starting to get into form a little bit. I'm sure somebody spoke up and said, yo, we need to start doing this. Maybe it was Clay. We need to start doing that. They bring it back, and they have to take the second round. If New
They
York
start playing together, and they start winning again.
I mean, if New York was able to take the second map and tie the series up by 1 and get some confidence and some momentum, they might be able to make this into a series. But instead, they end up losing this round. And I kind of want to break this down a little bit, Ben, because this round 11...
This one gets the intel.
They get the intel from the streak. They get the bomb down. And right here is where I want to talk about. This is what I want to talk about right now with the indecisiveness and, like, the unconfidence and not working together and this and that. Watch Hydra number 4. Watch the way he challenges right here. Clay, he gets back down. The bomb's down.
I fucking hate this setup, too. I hate being trapped down here.
Hydra hits this little slow shimmy. Listen, you're either hitting
hit a shoulder, bro.
You're either hitting a quick fucking shoulder to give us some info, or you're fucking slide canceling, challenging that bitch with confidence. It's one or the other. Instead, he hits a super slow fucking shimmy, and he fucking dies. You understand? And that's why I got a problem.
I also think Clay falling off the sign also doesn't help because he gives up middle and they just kind of push through.
Well, he was one shot.
He had to help Hydra.
I know he had to help, but he can still finesse off the corner of the sign. They can't shoot his feet if he's in the middle of the info booth.
Not just that, though. I mean, New York, they're pinning themselves onto the site. Push something out. Make a play. Do something.
Yeah.
Somebody hit a pinch.
Yep.
Maybe have 2 guys hit up the ramp, hit something together. Maybe work some trades, open up some gaps. All you need to do is get a kill or 2 and let the round drag out. And let the time dwindle down because you got 35 seconds left on the clock right here. If you could just get a quick trade, get 1 or 2 kills, like even right here, Asim gets 1 kill. You know the kid's in the corner. Hey, somebody needs to help Asim, challenge that kid, run up the ramp. Like, we got to play our lives. Like, we got to do something, get more active. It was just a lot of bad plays. But on top of that, you also got to give credit to Optic because they retook that fantastic. They hit it from every lane. They waited for each other. They made sure that anything that they did, they had a guy in their back pocket that was there to get their trades. And they had out all the lanes. They put the pressure on New York, and they pinned him in on the site. So, New York, they choked. I don't think I don't even want to say choke. I think Optic clutched up. New York made some mistakes, and that's what Optic does. They take advantage of it, and they're able to close out the round, Ben.
Well, even when Asim got the streak, right, they knew they were all mid. Clay falls off the sign, and then maybe he just doesn't call out that he's giving up mid, and no one watches mid, and then these two guys just get their ticket for free. Max holding the pinch, but there's no one mid now. And then these guys just get onto the bomb for free.
Watch number 3. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So Clay falls off. Mac is kind of passively holding their side, right? He's not really peeking that tunnel. So he still thinks in his retake that someone's coming from their spawn. So he actually is super late to pick a mid. Like, he actually won't pick it up until they cross and actually shoot the other 2 teammates in the back right there. But then he tries to slide out and get a kill, and Formal kind of smokes them. It's a little bit of a team shot, too. Yeah,
it's just great plays by Formal, to be honest.
Optic had a good retake. They 2-2. They stayed together.
Yeah,
that's how they had to play it.
I mean, Optic they look good. I like how they stayed calm because they had such a big lead, and it ends up going to around 11. You give streaks to Asim, they get the bomb down, and Optic still they stay relaxed. They stay together. They work a good break, and I'm sure they calmed it the whole way through. And then individually, their talent led them to some big individual gunfights. And at this point, you're up 2-0. New York loses first map. They make mistakes in the second map, and they bring it all the way back, and then they lose again. And just like that, you're down 0-2 against a team like Optic. You go into a raid control, which is one of Optic's better maps. No, Ben?
I'll check.
I think they're good at
Optic's
this
been pretty good at raid control. I'll get the stats here in a sec. Just give me a minute.
I feel like this is one of their better maps.
They're 13-7 in raid control, so I would say they were pretty good at that map.
It's a good map for them. I feel like this is a good map for them. So once they went into the raid control, I said, listen, New York, this is a swing mode. And if New York is going to make the reverse sweep, obviously they got to win this map or they lose. But it starts with 1. But taking down a team like Optic, who's 13-7, like you said, I just feel like every time I watch Optic play this map, it fits their play styles. You know, like they have Formal and Dashy roaming with the ARs. They're picking people. They're beaming people. You have Envoy taking routes, and you have Scump just doing his thing. It just fits them. It fits them a lot. And I knew this was going to be a tough one for us, Ben, when I saw this.
The way the series was set was actually, if New York had won this map, it was going to go to Apocalypse, map 4, which New York's actually pretty good at, and it's probably the weakest map left in Optic's map pool. So there was a potential for the reverse sweep to be kind of on. Instead, New York just sort of falls apart in this map. And as we watch it through, look, we're going to go back to what we talk about. We see Optic on the offensive, or the New York on the offensive side, sorry. Just a lot of single chows, not a lot of teamwork, not a lot of valuing lives in 2v4, 3v4 situations to try and hold that map control.
I mean, bro, they get bodied a few rounds. They get bodied one round by life count. Like I just remember
in this round. Watch what happens after this.
They get absolutely fucking horked on. Dylan Envoy absolutely goes off. And how many times have we seen Envoy go on streaks on this map? I feel like this is his fucking map. I feel like he's always doing some crazy shit on here. So shout out to Envoy. He's always doing well. But New York, they just get outslayed. Like, Optic just punishes them. They're not getting kills. They're single pushing. They're challenging shit. They're solo challenging shit. And just, like I said, discombobulated. I don't know if that's a fucking word. It sounds like it's a word.
That's a word.
Okay.
Now they're all dead and they trapped themselves.
Yeah, they're all dead. They trapped themselves. I mean, they're on the offensive side, so they're trying to do everything they can. Winning offense is hard enough. I think once Scum pops his 2-piece and gets bedroom control, like this is what you don't want to see.
Well, New York doesn't get like any kills for the next like a minute.
And they don't trade this guy.
They don't trade it. No trades. No trades. And again, they're just look. You see the kill feed. You see how they're going down one by one. It's just no trades at all. Look at Clay. He's hitting bedroom by himself. You have a guy hitting ring by himself.
Yeah,
look at Zig. Look at Hydra by himself.
Goodbye.
They're frantic by himself. Look, number 3, he's starting to hit a route. Number 1, you have number 2 challenging bedroom by himself. Like, look at it. It's bad. It's pathetic. What the fuck happened? What happened? What the hell's going on? There's no.
It's got to the cycle, man.
They gotta regroup going into the next match. They have to regroup because when you play a team like Optic or any of these top teams, it's gonna. And listen, I know I sound like I'm repeating myself, but when you watch the fucking minimap, guys, it's the same shit over and over again. You know, it's the same problems, and it goes to show. Look at the lives. It's 3-17. I mean, forget about it, Ben. It's done. It's finished. Finito.
Yep. I was about to say, I dragged someone in here. You know, I know you poked me. Did you want to hop on the show? Do you have something to say?
Let's go. Well, I just wanted to vibe with the boys. What's good?
What's going on?
Hey,
welcome to the flank. You fucking animal. How you doing?
Even in this next round, now you're going to see Ace getting artillery, and as soon as he goes to call it in, they literally all die.
Yeah,
that's another problem.
They need to camp a corner or something.
We haven't even got
for it.
This guy calls an artillery fucking barrage, and the kill feed's all white.
They die before the missiles even come down.
How the fuck does that happen? They should all hold corners and hold pre-aims while ASIM's calling the fucking streak. Instead, I don't even know what the fuck they did. And maybe
their teamwork's obviously off, but I think individually as well, right? Like we saw like the previous form of this team, like even when their teamwork wasn't great, you at least had those individual bailout performances. Like we're not seeing those either.
And that's where I start talking about the confidence in. That's where I start thinking, you know, maybe the confidence. I reached out to Paco yesterday because, you know, there's little things. I'm like, Paco, you know, keep your head up. Remember who the fuck you are and how talented you are. You have to stay true to yourself. They're probably arguing in scrims. There might be some bickering. They might be trying to overanalyze shit. And that's when teams start to fall apart. When teams start overanalyzing things, they start yelling at each other, this and that. People are scared to make plays. It was like Vivid in Dallas when Vivid reached out to me. He's like, dude, I feel like I'm playing to not make mistakes. And I was like, that's bad. You got to play for the win, not play to not lose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like you could see it in the gameplay. You could see it. That's why I called Asim on the phone yesterday. I was like, bro, just go watch the match back. You guys will know what the problems are if you just sit down as a team and watch this shit together. You know,
if you're playing to not lose, you'll always lose. Always.
Exactly, Zin. If you're playing to not lose, you're gonna lose. You have to play for the win. And at the end of the day, if you play for the win and you try and make plays and you lose, well then what are you gonna say? You gave it everything you got. You tried to go for the win, and you lost. But if you never even fucking try, and you don't even work together as a team, it's not gonna work. It's never gonna fucking work. So it's just little things, man. And then on top of that, they're playing a top team. So they're gonna get fucking bopped.
They win that round, and now they have a chance to take the lead here. And
yeah.
They get beat pretty fast, right?
They lose. 3-1, no? They lose 3-1.
Yeah, they lose 3-1.
This is the round with Asim and the artillery, I think.
I think the tougher point, Tom, was this. I was a series before it because they had a slow start in that series against Thieves. They came back in. They threw out smoked Thieves on that Garrison control. The Garrison hardpoint was actually pretty close. But then they made a lot of mistakes in that Miami, and I feel like it's sort of translated over to this series. I feel like that they need to stem that negative momentum, take a reset, take some time, get back as a team. Maybe we got to freshen up the strats a little bit. Maybe we got to see if we're keeping up with the meta, and come out with the fire and take it one series at a time, because I think they've got the talent to figure it out. But it seems like the vibes just aren't there at the moment.
Yeah. I love the way Envoy, you got shit on right there, but I love the way he plays his map sometimes, man. He's not afraid to make a play. Like, Envoy's never afraid to make an individual play, and that's one thing I admire about his gameplay. Like, I like the routes he takes. Maybe it's because I used to fucking flank a lot, but I just like the way he does it. Like, I like the way he reads the map, and he just finds a lot of gaps, and it's super annoying to play against. He finds one gap and gets a kill. Now he's just a problem. Now it's like, oh, dude, Envoy's over here. You know, it's annoying to play against, even if he's not having the best map statistically, which on this map was not the case. He was fucking a quadrillion positive.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he ended up. But, you know, if you're making plays and you're being annoying on the map, it's just very difficult to play against. It's very frustrating. It gets teams flustered. So I love the kid's play style. I love watching him play. He's a good player.
Just one other point before we get to the artillery, I just noticed this situation. So this comes back to just, I think, teamwork and comms just off on New York. They get a situation here, they spawn Optic out. They get those laundry spawns. They're going to have two guys in hill. They got one actually coming from middle of support, and look what they do. They just hop out of hill. Two guys both trying to pick up window at the same time. They're picking up bell. It's just frantic. It doesn't seem like they're confident just stacking the point, you know, staying down, letting Optic kind of slide in on them, and let Clay, who's middle, to kind of pick it up. And then watch what happens. They're going to go ahead and get on the point. But, Tom, look what lane's not picked open.
Nothing's picked open. They're all looking at the same shit,
No one's
Ben.
looking open.
Nobody's
looking open stairs.
fucking open
They double hit it,
stairs. They're all
triple hit
looking
it.
at the same fucking thing.
Number 4's watching the flank, and 3 are watching basketball.
And
no, they're
not
just off,
that,
man.
They're not calling out.
Hydra,
And then they get
and
4
yeah,
down
they
here.
make it work because Hydra gets a
They get B.
a crazy double
And
nade,
this should
but that
be easy.
shouldn't really happen in that situation, you know?
And it's the same thing too, Ben. When Hydra and Asim were money window, what the fuck are they doing? You have Hydra looking in money window. Asim's going back and forth from L to money, from L to money. Asim either need to both get on the fucking point and stack, or Hydra gets money and Asim gets L and they fucking play their kills. Instead, they're just
Those are the scenarios where I could see the language barrier being a little wonky, right? For Asim, like he's trying to like figure out what the fuck Paco's doing. I'm not sure if that's actually what happened, but I don't know, man. Just they don't look as aware, as confident. It's like the whole ship is just on a downward spiral. And
watch this. Now Asim gets the missile. All they need to do is get onto this 8 point. Asim calls the missile. Hydra's pushing when Asim's calling. Max pushing when Asim's calling.
This is horrible.
Clay pushes when Asim's. Why are they pushing?
And now you're in the spawn trap. You're spawning.
What are they
deep
doing?
pool. They've got
Rewind it!
or pushed all the way out. It's the absolute worst situation here where you've now got no map control.
They should all
not a lot
be
of
sitting
time.
art. Asim should be saying, stay alive. Everybody playing art. Nobody move. Hold your L triggers. Pre-aim the fucking doorways. Optic has nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. The only place Optic can go is into art or into laundry. That's
Well, I
it.
also think Clay also gives a middle, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with that play. He might have had a freebie if he held. I guess maybe it's hindsight, but instead he gives it up.
No,
Watch
that's
a great
fine.
play from Envoy though.
That's
No, but watch
fine,
what Envoy
man.
does. He gets to middle and he's gonna end up shooting this guy in the back.
Well, he
and
was
now
the
they've got
last-
no map
He
control.
was the last guy to get a kill. At the end of the
No,
day,
they're
they
I
weren't
get
holding
that,
anything.
but-
The main
I
problem
get that,
was
but
they
they
were
need some
pushing up.
opening.
Where's the communication? They're pushing while he's streaking. That doesn't make any sense. Either Asim needs to hold his streak and wait till people back up or get into the point, or Asim was calling it, yelling that he's streaking, and they didn't fucking listen. And
now
that's the problem.
Watch what's gonna happen, Tom. Gump basically got a nice 3-piece there in that situation, and he's just gonna be pushed out this whole time. There's nothing they can do, man. It's really hard for them to get through Jim. They'd get nothing out of the rest of this round. It's a 4v9. GG's in the chat.
Done. It's done. They had the streak. They had a chance to put Optic away. They come out, win the offense. You go back to a defense. You win the map. Next thing you know, you get a map on a board. You go back into another hard point, and you're able to turn things around and maybe push this to a game number 5. But then Formal pops a fucking 3-piece. This guy's hitting form. He's shooting beams. He shows no emotion. That's when you start getting scared. When Formal's popping pieces, he's not even showing any fucking emotion. And it's fucking chalked. It's fucking chalked. It's little things. A lot of little things.
And then what? This was also the setup that made me lose full. We have talked about time and time again about the problem with this setup, where you just turtle like this, because every kill, every person that dies on New York is going to spawn out. And look what happens. They're going to go 3 dead. They're all going to spawn laundry, and that's a GG. 3-1 Optic, 3-0 in the series.
I love how Optic's setting
just
it
gotta,
up,
Just
too.
gotta have some get some map control here. Watch. It's a bunch of individual chows. You're watching individual lanes. They don't have the numbers because it's a 4v3. They sussed all the kills. Look where New York is now. We're deep laundry. We've got nothing.
Done.
Optic's got L pushed out.
We're
You're
done.
getting spawn trap. Number 4 is bed, but he's useless at this point. Hydra. It's shocked.
But look at the way Optic sets it up. Somebody takes a route. They go all the way around. 2 guys from Optic hit kitchen together to get kitchen control. They can work some trades if anybody's in there. Get control of kitchen. And then somebody slow plays the fucking front. At this point, any kills that they get, they're spawning in the fucking deep fucking laundry in the back. And they get on to this point. They work as a team. They wait for each other. They hit the routes. And they do it together. Then you have New York. They're staggered. They're not moving. They're not active. They're all
guess
single
what's not being
challenge.
watched again, Tom?
What is this? Hey, you got number 4 in Hydra. Listen, Hydra, you gotta know nobody's coming there, big guy. They're long done. He needs to back up here at this point. Eventually, when Hydra sees they're all OEing, after a certain amount of time, you gotta back up. You gotta help them out. You know, it's just no teamwork. There's just nothing going on. It just seems like they're so lost. But at the same time, they're not bad players. They're incredible players. This is an incredible team. I love these guys, man. They're a great team. I know what these guys are capable of, but right now, they're not putting it together, and I feel like in practice, they have to be talking about these things. No, they gotta be.
I would hope so.
Because if they're not, I hope they're watching this. Because it's a lot of little things, man, that they can fix. No soap.
Not to harp on the like Hydra's language, right?
He
but
said
like
no.
He's pushed all the way out bed, man. He's got to be calling out that they have to all be OEing, right?
Well, they were looking at it, so, but the problem
No,
is
that was a weird ass fucking play. I just don't. I'd rather him fucking pinch through middle, like right there, like just do something. I guess I mean he wanted to block Mansion. I'm sure his teammates are saying keep blocking Mansion.
Which is fine, but he should back up to Mansion so he can at least get eyes on open stairs or get eyes on something.
It just looks worse when all 3 of his teammates drop and he's sort of just over there on that island, right? Like I agree.
No,
he should be like bottom or top Mansion helping out.
This is not Hydra's fault. This is the whole team's fucking fault. I don't know what the hell is going on. They're all over the place. You have one.
Tom,
what's going on, Ian?
No, sorry. I just because I heard you talk about. I don't know if you guys talked about it before, but have they gotten practice since the last? Like I know that they've practiced, but with team being out and like playing with Decimate.
I think so. Yeah, they've.
And then him moving. I just feel like maybe they haven't been practicing.
No, they've been able to practice. I just think right now they're just in a lull with their teamwork. I think they just need to refine the way again. It just seems like their decision making as a team is not very good. They seem to go back, freshen up their strats maybe a little bit. It seems like Optic was very prepared, had a lot of really good hard counts, especially in the beginning of the S&D. Got to give a lot of credit to Optic because it seemed like they were very prepared this week. And on the New York side, look, he's still got time. He's still got a match against FaZe to maybe cause some interesting scenarios in this group. And just take it one series at a time and know that you're qualified for champs. Top 2 seeds are going to be tough, but let's go ahead and lock in that top seed and get some momentum before champ starts.
Is it impossible for New York to get second now? Or third? They're only fighting for fourth?
That's a great question. I mean, they could still theoretically win the major. Like, that's not, out of play.
They have to have a good run.
But every match they lose is 10 points.
Shit. Oh, fuck, I'm muted.
All ahead. All good. It's 10 points that someone else in that race is going to get on them.
Listen,
so now they've now lost twice. It's a 20-point deficit. They lost a bunch of points, too, from having ace amount of the major. So I think it's going to be a real uphill task. It's probably not in their hands in order to get that second seed at the moment.
Listen, if you're New York, you just need to relax now. Go back into practice. Go back to the drum board. Sit down as a team. I don't know if they're doing this shit, but they better be doing this shit. Sit back as a team. Watch back the series together. Don't fucking point fingers and blame each other because they're all shit in the fucking sheets right now. The whole fucking team. They all look like shit. Get back together as a team. Nobody have a fucking ego problem because if there's any ego problems going on, that's a fucking issue. That needs to be cut out right the fuck now. Go back to the drawing board, watch all this shit, figure out what the problems are, and focus on it. Going into the practice, focus on your teamwork, focus on working off each other, get back into that rhythm, get back into that form, and remember who the fuck they are and how much talent they have on this fucking team because they shouldn't be doing shit like this. But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about them. I think if they can stay relaxed and stay calm and go back to the drum board, like some of Clay's tweets, he seems very frustrated.
Man. I'm worried.
Yeah, listen. I understand you're worried.
What was that tweet, bro?
But
listen, man. Clay, listen, bro. First off, this COVID thing has affected everybody differently. Clay's been around it for a long time. The lows in this industry are low, man. The highs are fucking incredibly high, but I'd argue that the lows, like the feeling of the lows beats the feeling of the highs, if that makes sense. Like the lows are lower than the highs
far.
are.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Zen. How many times have we counted out Clay and his teams? And
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
I'm
end of
not
the
counting
year,
him
look where
out,
they're
but
at.
I mean, but not every year do we see Clay tweeting and being as open like this. Like, he is struggling, and like, bro, I'm sure a lot of people have reached out. Like, I reached out. Like, I want to see the best for him, but like, it's not good to have your main leader and one of their star players. I mean, Clay was fucking incredible early on this year, and he's obviously still good, but definitely not. He hasn't been at that same level. To have like your main voice, like it just sort of negative right now is not ideal for him, because you got to think, like, if he's not being that positive upbringing guy, and don't get me wrong, I don't think he's sitting there shitting on his players, but it's
They
just
need to relax and get back into what they know they're capable of. They need to work as a team here. They have to.
I think it's a fair point, Zen. I just feel like we got to give Clay the benefit of the doubt. Does any player in Call of Duty history who has a proven track record of getting out of that valley and getting back to a peak, especially at the end of the year, it's him and his teams.
Yeah, I mean, you know what Clay brings to the table. I mean, I just hope that some of this shit that we're seeing him tweet and stuff isn't being translated back into practice and stuff. Like, he needs to be a leader for these guys.
Don't think there's another voice, right? Like, I'm sorry to cut you off. Like, last year, right, he had Krim, right? So if Clay wasn't on form, right, you had Krim, like, sort of bringing those younger guys up because he's been there. Like, I touched on the lack of maturity, or just like the overall how young New York is. It's like, who is that next guy? Like, who's that next guy who's like positive?
Listen, this is where the coach. You got Coach Bobble, you got JP. These guys need to step up. You got Clay over there. You got Asim, who's been stepping up in that leadership role a little bit. You know, this is not Asim's first year in the fucking league. He's been here. He's got a couple years under his belt now, going into his third year. Come on. They got enough guys who could step up and fucking speak up. You know, these guys are not that young. I mean, regardless, even when people come up, they're 18, 19 years old. It's not like they're babies, you know. Some of these guys are learning. Mac is in his second year now. You know, Mac can step up a little bit in the comms. Max came out of his shell a little bit. You know, these guys have been around. You know, step up and do something as a team here. You know, do something as a team and figure out what the fuck's going on, because the mistakes are blatantly obvious. We see it unfolding. We're watching it. You watch the mini map, and you could write a 2-page fucking essay on the mistakes that they're making. And then on top of that, you know, they're playing a good team that's forcing mistakes. So they need to get back into that momentum. They need to get back into the confidence. Ben, everybody keeps saying interview. You want to go on board with the interview?
Yeah, I got it queued up. Well, we can check in this formal interview because I think chat wants to.
All right, let's go on board with Formal and see what he had to say after the big W.
Joining me, I have the legendary Formal from Optic. First of all, man, congratulations! An epic start to Stage 5 here with a 2-0 going through the week. I got to ask you, you know, how did you guys regain after that, you know, incredible lengthy delay that you had there? You know, what was going through your minds? Was it difficult to get back into the game?
At first it was. Break ended a lot longer than what we had previously thought, and when we got back into the match and we knew we were about to start, we kind of all just honed it back in, and we all knew okay, this is big that we keep our momentum. We went down 0-2, and we just shook it off, and we just I don't know, we just regained really hard, and we won 5 straight, and then we ended up closing the map out. So I was really proud of the boys for that.
The composure, my dude, the composure. Absolutely stunning stuff. Now, you guys actually gained a bunch of knowledge coming out of Major 4 about, you know, what your team needs to do after being on LAN for the first time in what seems like ages, years. But obviously, Major and Champs, the next ones, are going to be returning to LAN. So what is the main focus for you guys as a team as we get back into the swing of things?
Just to keep playing how we practice. That's the most important thing. Because we look great in scrims. It's just when it comes to matches sometimes, I think we get a little ahead of ourselves and we don't really play how we usually do. So I think as long as we can, you know, play just like we do in scrims, I think we'll be just fine. And we're excited for the rest of the events.
Absolutely, my dude. Now, obviously, like you said, you just need to do exactly what you practice and what you're doing in scrims as well. And putting that into place is quite something. But putting that into place against Atlanta FaZe, who you're going to be facing, is pretty difficult. Is preparation the same for you guys heading into a match like Atlanta FaZe, or is it a little bit different?
I'd say it's the same. We've done pretty poorly in the past couple of matches with FaZe, but I mean, it's COD. Anything can happen any day. Just gonna hope for the best and just prepare just like we always do, and hopefully we come out on top.
Love to hear it, man. Well, we appreciate it. We love the come up of the green wall. Thank you so much for your time, Formal and Ben.
Good interview. It was a good interview. I mean, Matt's good in front of the camera. You know, he's been doing this for a long time, so you know he had some good answers. And you know, I think it's the same spot for Optic, right? They come out, they get a big win against a good team, and they go back to the drawing board and focus on what they've been doing. You know, focus on making the right plays, working together as a team, and going into it, they're gonna have to start taking down some of these the teams at the top. You know, which they already did with New York, but they gotta keep doing it consistently. And I think the work ethic that these guys have is really good. I think these guys have been putting in a lot of time. So it was a great interview by Zinni and Formal right there.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, my dude, you know, it's just good to hear from you, my dude.
Lottie's been very good this year, by the way. She's been very
Lottie's
good.
great.
She's great. She's been doing her thing. And same with everybody over there. You got Miles and Chance. I think Studdy and Lando have been picking it up. You got fucking Maven and Merc. I think the whole fucking desk has been great, man. It's been fun to watch.
There's only one thing missing, Tom.
Yeah, me
Me and you are COD fucking champs, dude.
They might need to throw us on a fucking booth or something.
Listen, we're not gonna curse. We're gonna be fucking well behaved. It's gonna be good, man. Trust us.
That's gonna be fucking hard. You know, this guy got fucking smoked. Can you imagine on the broadcast?
Oh, fuck, he got turned on, Tom.
Oh shit!
No.
Nah, trust me. I think we'd kill it, man.
No, we would. Ben, do we have a schedule going into it? Do we have any matches coming up? Anything that we could talk about here or no?
I would have to pull it up from the original VOD, but I could just kind of like read it out on the website if we want to discuss the Thursday games. I was looking at the schedule. Actually, next week's kind of lit. I will say though, Thursday might be the little bit of a snooze fest. We've got Toronto versus LAG as the first match, then Minnesota versus Seattle. But I will say it gets better on the weekend. Listen to this second day, Tom. Dallas versus Florida, solid match.
Yep.
Then we got FaZe versus Thieves, which might be a banger if that Thieves team is improving.
Jeez, bro, it's a fucking pretty good match, no?
FaZe 3-0.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
let's
FaZe
do
is
the
gonna
Thursday
smoke
and then
them.
we can do the Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, bro, FaZe, we could talk a little bit about FaZe. Those guys are fucking nuts.
No, we can't, man. Ben will start fucking beating off.
Okay, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna fucking rock hard, you know. So we
Let me
gotta...
see your cock bed. Oh shit.
Oh shit!
Shout out
Welcome to the
Ben 10,
play.
I guess.
But listen,
Ben 10.
listen. Oh, Ben 10. We gotta bring that shit back, chat.
No, we do not need to bring
Yeah,
that
we
shit
do.
back.
Yeah, we fucking do.
Absolutely not.
For some reason, the chat gave up on it. They gave up on a Ben 10. But guys, please drop some questions in the chat. We got Enable in here. We got Methods. We got me and Ben. We got Soap.
Let's do Thursday predictions. Then we'll take questions.
Who's Thursday predictions? Who's playing Thursday?
All right, so first match, we got Toronto versus LAG.
I got it ready.
Anyone in this room think it is not going to be a Toronto 3-0?
Yes. I lied.
Like
It's gonna be
I said,
Toronto 3-0.
not a
Yeah,
Toronto
I know, I
3-0.
lied.
It's Toronto. These matches are trash, bro. What the fuck
LAG
is this?
just got a forfeit. They just forfeit.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. I think the second one, though, might be a little bit closer.
Friday's
Seattle
lit,
versus...
though. Friday's lit.
Listen, Seattle versus Minnesota. I'm actually going to say Minnesota in Game 5. I actually think that series might be pretty interesting. Two teams that are kind of like in an interesting spot. Not really sure they're going to come out. They have some maps they're really strong at, some maps they're weak at. I think we could have kind of a banger series between those two teams.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe something can happen, man. I don't know. Maybe LAG comes out and does something. I don't fucking know. But probably not. I'm going 3-0 Toronto. I'm going... Ooh, Seattle, Minnesota. Who the fuck's going to win that one? I'm going 3-2 Minnesota. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I can see Seattle winning. I think Minnesota has more to play for. Right? I think they'll bring more to it. They're obviously going up against Thieves for the winners bracket for champs, so it's a point race. I'll take Minnesota 3-2 as well, just because I think they have more to play for.
Ian, what do you think? Ian and Soap, I'd like to get your opinions as well. Let's go with Ian first.
Minnesota 3-1. I just think it's like you guys said. Seattle, they don't want to play for. You know, like
yeah, they don't give a fuck.
There isn't a worse feeling than when you know you can't make it to champs. So like, just no matter what, they're not going to be going as hard. It's just how it is.
And Soap, what do you think?
Seattle 3-1.
Seattle 3-1. I like that. Soap, you're switching it up.
I think Seattle, they are a team that has to depend on winning first map because, you know, they're not best S&D/control team, but they kind of can pull it out sometimes. But yeah, I mean, they can't play a champ, so they got to hope to get their chip here, right?
This guy's talking the piss, dude. He's talking the piss.
I mean, listen, we got Ricky from LAG here to talk about a little bit how they've been preparing going into this Toronto match. Ricky, how's it going? How's the team been looking?
Hey guys, Ricky here. Obviously, oh man, you caught me off guard. I didn't know we were expecting.
Get back on. You're good.
I didn't know we were expecting
that was
Ricky,
fucking
but
comedy.
obviously, right? Just trying to keep our heads down, grind. Obviously, not where we want to be. We let Reese go. He's now placing top 2 on Empire. So just keeping our heads down, right? Obviously, the Academy team took home a big win today. A lot of shit talk. Just try to move forward with the team and get some dubs.
Thank you, Ricky. Hey, Ricky, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you giving us a little bit of a breakdown. So thank you, Ricky. I look forward to getting you on the next
I wasn't prepared, man. I wasn't prepared.
No, that was good. That was real good.
Speaking of Ricky, I said we were talking about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. We should talk about because I think of the server issue yesterday, right? The finals of Challengers Cup got pushed to today.
Mm-hmm.
And some pretty interesting shit went down between LAG and who was the other team? It was Sparks team, right?
Sparks team, yeah.
Yeah. Ben, you're lagging a little bit over there too. What's the internet going down?
I know I might be getting a little bit of pack loss. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're definitely lagging though over there. It's definitely on your end, huh, chat? He's fucking skipping.
Is my audio cutting out? Or just
a little
video?
bit. Your audio is all mixed up. Your video was, but you look good now. It was happening a little bit throughout the show, but it always finds its way back.
Your left eye's halfway down your cheek, Ben. Get
I'm on Wi-Fi, so something. It's a weird elevation issue. Sometimes I get packet loss, guys. It's a one-day problem.
Where are you in New York?
Yeah. So guess what happened,
we're getting serious thunderstorms and shit right now.
Yeah, so, yesterday I get in the door, right? So I was supposed to fly out super early this morning, right? I was basically going to come home from the show,
right?
Take a quick nap, get on a plane. The minute I step in my parents' house, I got a text from United that my flight got canceled. We had some bad weather here this morning, so I rebooked. So I'm here in New York an extra day, but... vibes are high. We're getting through it. Extra day with the fam,
You look good,
extra day with my dog.
He looks good, right? He looks fucking fantastic.
I have a 3/4 chub right now looking at you on the screen, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Ben, is that the first ever Herman Miller created that you're sitting in? That shit looks like it's from the 80s.
Yeah, that shit looks comfy.
I don't know who made it or where it's from. It's just my dad's.
That shit looks fucking comfy.
It's comfy though.
But listen, guys, let's go into the chat. Let's answer some questions, please. Drop a fucking did you say E United when it came to the? You said E United. You didn't say United.
Yeah, you said E United.
This guy fucking loves COD.
I said E United. I think I said United.
I don't know. Is Dallas winning champs? I don't think so.
Fair enough.
I don't think they are. Ben's hot. Thank you, Salim. Thank you, MC.
You don't think Dallas has a chance to win champs?
No, he asked me, do I think Dallas is going to win? Sure, they have a chance, but I don't think they're going to win. MC, why don't you join, Cell? Why don't you join and come say a few words?
MC's banned from the show, apparently.
Why?
Scared.
He's scared? Cellium, are you scared?
Ben scares him, he said.
I think the only teams that can fuck with FaZe in a best of 9 are Ultra and Empire. If Empire stick to that same form from this most recent major.
Somebody said,
I still think Ultra is the best equipped to fuck with FaZe.
Somebody said, what are the odds Optic takes down FaZe? What do you guys think? It's going to be tough,
It's possible.
It's possible, but I don't know. I just feel like FaZe is in just a tier of their own.
Optic's heading form as well, so I want to see more from Optic and see.
I think that the tough thing for Optic in that FaZe matchup is that Optic's got to start getting... The way those series have gone is the S&Ds have been no contest. And like Optic can play as well, and we did in those respawns when they first played FaZe. They showed up, but the series since then have not been close. I think that's what I'm going to be looking for when they match up again. I think they play what? I think they actually play this week, right? I think it's on Sunday.
Yep, 4:30 on Sunday.
Yeah, so it's the second last match on Sunday. I'll be curious to see what Optic do with the S&D because FaZe has kind of had their number. FaZe has also been doing a lot of homework on them. I think for Optic, they got to play unpredictable, mix things up. As we've talked about a lot in this show, if Optic can add that tactical depth, they get very, very dangerous as a team, and I would love to see it.
They could definitely beat FaZe. It's just going to be very, very difficult. It's not going to be easy. They're going to have to play perfect COD because that's what FaZe does.
And one's unbeatable.
No, nobody's
ever unbeatable. You can always catch a team on a bad day.
Always. And nobody's unbeatable, like Zinni said. Somebody said, is Florida the most inconsistent team in the league? I think there's a lot of inconsistent teams in the league. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if they would be the most consistent. What do you guys think?
What was it? Sorry, I wasn't paying
I
attention.
think they're one of the most inconsistent teams for sure.
Who?
Florida?
Inconsistent? I never know what to expect out of that team, ever.
Same with Minnesota, right?
Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're average, sometimes they don't
good,
look very good.
sometimes maybe bad.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. But listen, we got a good question here. We can end it on this one because, Ben, I think you wanted to comment on this one a little bit. AW Scump or Black Ops 4 Simp, who was better in their prime?
Okay. So
Jesus.
Here's my take on this.
Here we go.
I actually think it's a terrible comparison because I personally don't think that they have the same play style. Here's my thought process. First off, AW Scump. Let's just talk about Scump in general, right? Like his entire career, going all the way towards the beginning of the pro scene. This guy is probably the greatest. 100%. I would stick by this. Probably the best frontline Slayer we ever had in COD consistently. And like, look at the guy's numbers from year to year, from event to event. Like, this guy does not have bad events. He absolutely runs through teams. To me, I think the tough part in this is one, and I think Sam made a good point in that video, that we haven't seen the peak of Simp. Like, he's only been in the league a couple of years. For me, though, and I don't remember, Tom, who came on the show and made this point. I think it might have been Looney or it might have been Slack, that Simp's play style is unpredictable. And that's why I think the difference is in the two players. Scump is that front-wide player where I feel like Simp relies a lot. He can be that frontline guy, but the way he plays off his team and reads the game, he's more of that like playmaker kind of gap finder, and he's setting his team up in that way. And that's why I think it's a hard comparison. But I think if my POV, like gun to my head and I had to pick one, right, AW Scump or BF4 Simp, I'm probably picking AW Scump. If I had to pick one.
Really? I agree with you right now. I mean, so AW Scump was great. I mean,
you know me, I'm a big Scump fan, but
yeah, you do love Scump. I mean, right now I think we just need to see more from Simp. I mean, Sim's still young. He's been doing it for a couple years, and he's fucking fantastic. Definitely top sub in the league. Definitely fucking MVP. All that shit, right?
Not only is he gross too, but like he's so smart.
The question's hard to answer.
It's like the LeBron versus like Jordan comparison. Like they don't have the same play style.
Not
it's
even
like,
that.
How do you compare that?
It's like it's literally AW compared to Black Ops 4 is an
completely
entirely
different
game, different time period, different players in the league. Like it is completely different.
Yo, Ian, how come nobody ever talks about me and AW? Ian, nobody ever talks.
Yeah, they're fucking.
They don't understand, Ian. I was taking everybody down in the second half of the year. You understand?
I think you were the best sub. But no, we don't even know. We don't even know. Yeah, I mean, come on. I had a couple MVPs. Back in my head. We don't even know if this is Simp in his prime yet, like you guys said.
If Simp gets better, we got a problem.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
If Simp gets better, there's a serious issue. For a lot of people.
Simp, we need to see what happens throughout the years. You know, we'll see what happens. But that kid's a different breed. You know, he's a different beast. But at the same time, you know, it's different generations as well. You know, they're coming up in different times. I mean, I'm curious to see if Simp gets better, you know, over the years. Like, if he gets better and he starts hitting a different form, then, I mean, eventually you might have to start putting Simp in that category. I mean, this guy, look at the accomplishments that he already has, you know, especially with the competition that's in the league these days. It's impressive. It's definitely impressive, but you can't take away from what Scump has done. Simp needs a lot more has a lot more to give, you know.
Tom, you know what I want to see, even though we'll never see it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
Because obviously, since Simp's been in the league, he's been on one of, if not the best team every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you could say a lot of it has to do with him too, but
yeah,
I would love to see Simp on a similar team to how like Scump was in Black Ops 2 or Ghosts, where not that they're bad, but they're clearly not the best. You know what I mean? I would just like to see
the same exact thing. They wouldn't win most of the time, but Simp would still look unbelievable, just like Seth did.
I mean, yeah, no, I think you're right. It's just something I would like to see.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it too. I mean, that's another thing.
It'll never happen, but
it's a team game too, as well. You know, COD has always been a team game. I mean, Simp came into his career and he's played with some of the best of the best. You know, like he's had great teams, and that's not to take away from him, because the only reason why he's on those teams is because of who he is as a person and a player. You know, he's a fantastic player. That's why he finds himself on teams like that.
Yeah.
But Scump the same way. You know, Scump has had amazing teams too throughout his career.
Well, let's not act like that United team was very good when he came on it. They got top 16 at the event before they picked him up, correct?
But he also came onto a pro team that wasn't very bad. He was playing with some well-known great.
Walked on.
Yeah, they were good, but they had done nothing that entire. I mean, if I remember correctly,
they got second at
the
first
second
event.
at Vegas, and then it just kind of went south. That's when the whole Clay and Cap thing, right? And then they
wasn't
really
it just
Fort
Worth
before?
It was just Fort Worth after Vegas.
Yeah, because there was the qualifier in between that. Remember?
Yeah. So they got 5th, 6th, but I mean, no, they were still a good.
They weren't bad.
I think they were struggling at the league though. Correct? They had there was that period where they had gone. They're playing really bad, and that's what kind of had the momentum with the Cap thing. Because then they went to the Open event and they struggled, and that's when they picked him up after he was on. You know, he was on our FaZe FC Black team. We played
the
for
best roster move ever been. JCap for Simp. Oh my, I'd fucking. I do some shit I can't say on stream.
Somebody said
Make
Scump
that
had
move.
Nate shot and Simp has a BZ. I mean, come on, man. It's different times, you know. And Nate shot wasn't even that bad back in the day. Why do people drag Nate shot?
Wait,
Nate
I
shot
saw
was
this.
making
I saw
plays.
this.
He was
That was
fucking
back in the
horrible,
day.
Hold on,
Tom. He
time
was
out, time out.
fucking horrible.
I saw
Nah.
that. I saw that.
He
I
was
saw
a good
that
SD
thread,
player.
and I thought that thread was hella disrespectful. Scum team with Karma. Why are we disrespecting Karma as a second AR player?
Yeah, that guy
And
was
somehow
a different
him and
breed.
BZ.
That guy was a
There's a
different
reason
breed,
Damon's
bro.
got 3 rings, man. Come on.
Yeah,
I see him roasting his boss.
Damon's a different breed.
I don't know,
Yeah,
dude.
come on, man.
Ian's
Better
always
watch it,
roasting
he might
Nate
get
Shot.
fired.
Well, come on, Nate Shot be
Fucking
roasting
own the
his
company.
fucking players too. You know, they roast each other. You know, it's funny over there. Like they're always roasting each other. I feel like that's like the
Yeah,
vibe
no,
you guys
Nate
are on.
moves funny. Nate's suspicious. Yeah. I don't know. You know, there's that.
But hey guys, we'll end it there, man. I think we had a crazy show today. I think it was an incredible show. We picked up from yesterday. Obviously, we had some issues, but we came back and we wanted to finish the show for you guys. So I appreciate all you guys joining up. I'm gonna continue to play some games. I know we got Ian and Zinni and Soap, and maybe we can get some fucking games in and play some shit.
Absolutely.
But guys, listen, thank you all so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're close to 70K. Come on. Hit the fucking subscribe button, youtube.com/Zoomaa. Go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the different audio sites we're on. Please go to @theflank on Twitter, twitter.com/theflank. Go follow the fucking Twitter account, guys. Gershie's doing a great job. Everybody keeps saying go to Reddit. What the fuck is on Reddit? What the fuck is over there?
Tom, you hit 70K subs on YouTube. I'll tweet a picture of my ass today.
He'll tweet a picture of his ass. So you heard Ian first. You want to see his ass? Go hit that sub button. Guys, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys in another episode of The Flank. I'm going to continue to stream, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Guys, as always, have a good day.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Later, guys.